We gotta get you into frame there. All right. Hello, y'all. True Power is Mine. We're just a little bit behind schedule, but that does not matter. Like I told you last night on this very deck we're out here on today, we got Mark from Anaheim, and this is the other morning show. We're doing a couple other things, folks. So, folks on my channel, you're just getting a little extra content. So, that's how it goes. All right, we're live.
You'd rather have the white woman that thinks she's black?
Will you quit it? You're never gonna let me live.
No, she ain't call us back.
Yeah.
We live on YouTube too.
Never gonna let me live that shit down.
Nah, you don't need to. Nah, he ain't gonna let you. I guess we might as well just go to our spiel. We want you following to get too antsy.
All right. Well, this is the other morning show. I'm True Power's Mine.
And I'm Dimebag Darley.
Today's date is April 20th, 2018, the year of our Lord. And for those who may not know, this is the birthday of...
So, and also in honor of today, if you got it, smoke it. Happy 420, folks.
I don't condone that. I'm more of a drinker myself, but if that's what you do, then that's what you do.
Blaze up.
We can kill babies in America. You can certainly blaze up.
That's right, because it's 420.
White women.
Friday. Mark's on the line clowning, and by popular demand.
Oh, by extreme popular demand, we do have Mark from Anaheim.
Yeah.
He started off in the streets of Harlem. Then he went to live with his mother in segregated Johns Island, South Carolina, where he grew. And then he went to the Marine Corps, became a major, combat major in the Marine Corps, also a FBI range master and a LA police sergeant, I believe, or detective, one of the two. But the man was nominated.
You've been already blazing, because I don't know what biography you read.
I don't know what he read either. I'm just chilling.
Well, y'all quit.
I'm just chilling. I don't know where he got that from. He just making shit up.
I thought you guys were outside. How come you can't read through the smoke?
No, what it is everyone's so excited, Mark, to have.
Get it right. What'd it be?
What'd it be? Now you got the bio?
Yeah.
All right, you read the bio.
Before I read the bio, I want to say thanks to all the new subscribers, all the other subscribers.
Yes.
All the people that complain in the comments. Keep sending them in. I guess we'll let Mark talk, about 99.9% of the show today. That way we don't have no issues.
No hate mail.
Yeah.
And
we're not gonna be eating no food. Nobody's frying nothing. No babies crying.
So the show's not gonna be.
Whose Toonies are these?
Oh, these are your
the diehards.
Yeah.
The diehards.
Why don't you guys just be quiet and let Mark talk?
Mark deserves more respect than that.
I just found a pair of chonies, and I don't know who these belong to.
Oh shit! Hey, I got a real quick question.
I'm sorry.
When you're down there photographing at those surfer events on the beach, do you ever run into First Amendment issues where people are like, "You can't photograph me"? How do you deal with that?
They're in a public venue, so I tell them to shut the fuck up.
There you go.
And I will say this: when the world tour is going on, they actually have signs posted telling you that you're going to be filmed. Because they televise that live.
Well, then ain't no. There you go.
But see, think about it. It's just the opposite for me. Because niggas can't swim, much less surf. So I usually have people asking and begging to take photographs with me.
Oh my God.
I'm serious.
I see where you're going.
Especially when I have surfers that come in from the Scandinavian countries, man. Dude, the husbands be actually offering me their wives and stuff.
Holy shit. Cockhold shit?
Yeah, they're into that stuff, man. But
Oh,
but seriously, they all want to take photographs of me because back home they don't have no Schwarzes and bloody Keffers and
okay.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Now, someone asked me, have you heard about the continent of Africa?
The part where you already read the bio, so I guess
No,
we skipped the bio
no,
now,
no,
right?
we're not
Because
skipping.
the listeners don't know who they're talking listening to.
Oh,
Yeah,
they know. They know who. They know you
well,
all.
you
They
got the
know you all.
bio
Yeah, I
right
got
there.
the bio.
Hey, I'll make this easy for you, brothers, because I
No,
know it's
no,
a
we gonna read the
Friday,
bio.
and
We gonna get a
no, I'll
bio.
just make it easy. You don't have to read it. I'll make it real concise. All right,
Okay.
folks. What happened was this: back in the day, 1992, April 29th. Okay, coming up next week, the largest civil unrest in U.S. history was recorded. Now, everybody calls it the L.A. riots, but it wasn't confined to L.A. In fact, it happened all over the U.S. In fact, it even happened in Canada. But, everybody thinks it's L.A. And I didn't tell you guys this, but I actually helped National Geographic last year when they did the 25th anniversary. There's a documentary called LA 92 by National Geographic. That's the only documentary I assisted for that 25th anniversary. But I told the brass at LAPD more than a year before that riot happened that they would see the largest riots in U.S. history. And of course, most of the people I talked to laughed. And I was teaching at the LAPD Academy at the time, so I mean, literally, I told hundreds of LAPD recruits to get their heads out their ass and listen to what I'm telling them in class, because by the time they hit the street, they're going to be out there as probationers, and they're going to be involved in the largest riots in U.S. history. And sure enough, there were. So, I literally have hundreds of LAPD cops who could be my witness telling you, I told LAPD more than a year before the riots happened that they were going to see the largest riots in U.S. history. And I tell you all this because that's all by design. And what you see with the Trump administration right now, most of what's going on is by design.
Yeah.
And just yesterday, because I'm sure you guys don't know this, because most of the U.S. doesn't know this, because everybody's worried about whether Stormy Daniels had panties on or not. Congress passed a law this week. And do you know what that law says?
What?
Basically, you live in a predominantly black neighborhood, it's legal now to charge you far more for car insurance,
Oh shit.
the price of a car, and everything else. Because see, when Barack Hussein Obama became president, the Tea Party libertarians, primarily backed by the John Birch Society, went after Acorn. I lost a lot of respect for Barack Hussein Obama in his first year in office because they went after Acorn. They came out with all these BS, highly edited videotapes to make it look like Acorn was corrupt. So for you folks who don't know, just remember what I'm telling you right now. I never want any listening audience to believe anything I tell them. I always encourage you to go out and do your own research and you make up your own mind. But since I started doing radio shows in 1992, the month after the riots, rebellion, civil unrest, whatever you want to call it, I've yet to have anybody come on any radio show I've appeared on and told the listeners that I knowingly lied to them, provided them with disinformation or misinformation. Now, I got my haters out there, but see, they never attack the subject matter. They attack me, but no evidence that I've ever lied to you. So I'm telling you this straight out. What happened was Acorn was an organization that went after banks for redlining. Redlining was a tactic used for many, many years that just based on your address or your zip code, you end up paying far more than somebody else.
Right.
And it was unfair because it directly targeted black, brown folks. Well, Barack Hussein Obama threw Acorn under the bus and allowed the Tea Party libertarians and the John Birch Society to take them down. Now, what you all may not know, Acorn went through not one, not two, but 3 congressional hearing investigations, which were all staffed predominantly by Republicans, and came out not guilty in all 3. What you also may not know is just to show you how dumb the average Republican Tea Party libertarian is. When Barack Hussein Obama won re-election in 2012, more than 60% of the people on the Republican side of the House stated Barack got reelected because of Acorn. Newsflash, folks, Acorn no longer existed in 2012. Now, why am I telling this? Here, now, flash forward to 2018. Now that Acorn is gone, there was nobody to stop the lobbyist groups that gave more than $5 million to various Republican led candidates in the Congress to get this bill passed this week that nobody's telling you about that says it's perfectly legal and there's not a damn thing you can do if we want to charge the niggers more in money to buy a car or to get car insurance or anything else we want to charge the niggers for. That's what's going on in this country, folks.
Right now.
While you're being distracted with Stormy Daniel. Okay? Seriously. But then everything I tell you on this show, I'm serious. I still don't know whose 20s these are. But as far as my bio, basically, when I started doing radio shows, I used the nom de guerre, nom de plume, Mark from Anaheim. And the reason was because at that time, not only was I working for LAPD, I was working for several other government agencies, some that I will never name on radio. And I couldn't use my real name. However, I will say it was interesting because many of those organizations, including LAPD, they were always listening when I did radio shows. In fact, they would send people down to Stevie Wonder's radio station here in LA at KJLH and get copies of the show anytime I appeared. As we talk, even though I didn't tell anybody we're doing this show today, trust me, folks, I can guarantee you they're listening to this show too. And as you know, this past weekend, here Trump ordered the missile strike in Syria.
Yes.
Folks, all you got to do is go back and look at season 5 of House of Cards. They showed you that in House of Cards in season 5, which is probably the primary reason why they had to take down Kevin Spacey. Because in season 5 of House of Cards, they show you the Bohemian Grove and pretty much everything else that's going on right now in the White House.
Man.
And that was before Donald Trump got elected. In fact, back in 2015, they showed this network called Polyop.
Yes.
And that Polyop book is the same thing they're talking about Cambridge Analytica now. So everything you're hearing about Cambridge Analytica, they showed you that in House of Cards 3 years ago. Because Hollywood is not about entertainment. It's just that they don't know how much you know when you're watching something. So I can go watch a movie, you go watch a movie, and I'll come out and talk about the movie, and you look at me like, what the hell is that nigga talking about? I didn't see that.
Like the Godfather 3 movie. You know, I thought I understood it. And then, you know, you told me a couple things. Right. It's like, no, I didn't catch it. It went right over my head.
It's interesting you said the Godfather 3 movie because one of the most prolific journalists in my lifetime, and kind of eye candy too, but she was a female journalist, and she got in her car on Island of Malta and blew up last year.
Yes.
And that was a great loss. And I'm going to tell you, folks, you have no idea how many honest journalists around the world are being assassinated every single week, especially down in Central America. So I always tell people, you know, if you're not prepared to die, then don't speak truth to power. And I say that to you because just about 6 hours ago, I got a little Facebook message from one of my former LAPD recruits. And what did he say? When the Civil War begins, I will be in his rifle sights. So you guys can sit there and think that I'm not telling you what I'm telling you. There's a world war coming, and there's a civil war coming. And these guys are they've already chosen sides because they've been brainwashed. Well, I won't even say brainwashed. A lot of them are ignorant, and they only listen to one source of media. And once you repeat the lie over and over and over again, it becomes the truth.
Yes.
Or the bigger the lie, the more people believe it. And once Sinclair Group goes through with 73% of the TV stations in this country owned by one corporation, shaping public opinion, that's the only news they're going to get.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't use that as an excuse because I have no satellite. I have no cable. I have never had a smartphone, never had an iPad, never had an iPhone. I'm speaking to you right now on dial-up. I still use AOL dial-up. And yet I'm able to come on this show and tell you stuff that you don't know because
yes.
you don't want to know. Because the information's out there, folks. You got to get off your lazy ass and find out because your time's running out.
Yes.
In 1996, I held a College of Charleston reunion at the LAPD Academy. And this white woman looked me right in my face and said, "We never intended for so many of you blacks to become middle class, and we're taking our country back." Well, guess what? They're doing it. Everything that was put on the books from the time Franklin Delano Roosevelt got into the White House up to the Civil Rights Movement and Johnson's so-called war on poverty, they are reversing all those laws.
Yes.
So for anybody out there who's never heard me before, I'm going to ask the esteemed panelists, the panel right there, one little question. What gives black folks the right to be in the U.S. military?
It wasn't an executive order
Mm-hmm.
by Eisenhower, or not Eisenhower. Oh my God,
I want to say Truman.
Truman. No, maybe it was Eisenhower.
One, just to give you all a little history, I only use that term so the brothers they would understand what I'm talking about because I don't use the term military.
Right.
Military is actually a condescending term used by those during World War II that did not support the war.
Department
So
of War.
being a Marine, back in those days, by the way, they always call it the service. And back in those days, it was called the War Department, not the Department of Defense, which is a much euphemism. Harry S. Truman signed an executive order, which was the result, actually, of Eleanor Roosevelt and a sister from South Carolina, Mary McLeod Bethune. Before FDR signed it, he died. Harry S. Truman came in the White House after FDR died, so Harry S. Truman signed that executive order. Now, why am I telling you this, folks? What can any president do to an executive order that was signed by a previous president?
Rescind it. He can rescind it.
So let's say tomorrow the Trump administration decides to declare a war on several African nations all at once. And a lot of conscious brothers and sisters like saying, we have problems with this. Trump can come in with an executive order tomorrow and say, guess what? No more niggas in the military.
Yep.
And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Yes. Because we already
know. And I'm not being
know.
hyperbolic. Meanwhile, while you're being distracted with whether Stormy Daniels has panties on, we are getting closer and closer to our Article 5 convention. If they have an Article 5 state convention, the federal government will no longer exist.
Right.
And practically everything that protects blacks, browns, yellows, and women in this country falls under the Article 5 convention.
Yes.
Now, I did a radio show with Carl Nelson back in, I don't remember now, but somebody came on his show and asked me, well, what do I see for the future? And I stated, if you want an idea of what this country is headed towards, or at least folks like Mike Pence and Sarah Palin envision for this country, go back and find the movie with Natasha Richards, who unfortunately died in a ski accident. That chick was fine, man. And Robert Duvall, they were in a movie called, and Faye Dunaway. I'm sorry, it wasn't Faye Dunaway, was it? Maybe it was Faye Dunaway. But they were in a movie called The Handmaid's Tale. And it's based on a book by Margaret Atwood from Canada. Well, while I was doing that radio show with Carl, unbeknownst to me, a guy calls in. This guy was one of the producers who had not even announced that they were making a TV show called The Handmaid's Tale for Hulu. And then sure enough, when the Super Bowl came up right after that, they advertised during the Super Bowl. So I guess this would have been 2016. In the Super Bowl 2016, they advertised The Handmaid's Tale. Well, of course, The Handmaid's Tale came out, and I guess this year during the Emmys, they won several Emmy Awards. After I came on Carl Nelson's show and mentioned The Handmaid's Tale, do you know that book was unable to be found anywhere?
Sold out that quick?
Yeah, Margaret Atwood. How about giving me some damn credit, woman? Because I put your name back on the map. No, I'm serious.
You did.
When I mentioned Handmaid's Tale and told folks if they want an idea, go find a movie with Robert Duvall in it, which actually shows footage from the SLA shootout and some other rioting here in LA. But I also told them if they couldn't find the movie, get the book. That book was like people was telling me, "Thanks a lot, dude," because now we can't find the book anywhere.
Mm.
And of course, now the book's being reprinted, and now Margaret Atwood was being asked to be interviewed in all these radio shows. But seriously, so I finally, because I don't watch television,
Tell
so I
lie.
went to Barnes and Noble the other day, and I just purchased the first season of Handmaid's Tale. They're going to start filming next season starting next week. But if you guys want an idea of what folks like Sarah Palin, Mike Pence, Ted Cruz, and all these far right wing evangelicals have envisioned for the U.S., you need to see The Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's
And I
Tale.
will have to say, because I'm very familiar with the movie, watching the first season, much of the first season is based on the movie, but they've changed a lot. Because in the movie, all niggas are rounded up, whereas in the television show, they allow blacks
The
along
bourgeois.
with others to. No, not so much the bourgeois, because that's not their primary function. Their primary function is all the women who can still have babies.
Oh,
Everybody else. That's what a handmaid is. Like in the Bible, you
yes.
know, Rachel and her sister and all that other crap. They go back to that Old Testament crap where if I can't have a baby, then my sister has a baby for me with my
Mm.
husband.
Mm.
And they take this shit seriously. But more
Very.
importantly, another television series that I strongly recommend, and I'm surprised it was ever on television. And what's really weird, but that's the story of my life. I walked into this damn Target, and I'm
Touche.
like, okay, why am in this section of the damn store? And then I look down, I see this DVD called Dig. I have no idea what it was, but something tells me pick up Dig. So I pick up Dig, bring it home, watch it, and it shows you all the plans, including moving that damn embassy from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv.
Mm.
I'm sorry, from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem,
Yes.
and the plan for an all-out world war caliphate. Could they believe that? See, they need a guy like Donald Trump in the White House who's anything but a Christian, because God uses folks like that
Mm.
to create a world war Armageddon. Because until we have this world war Armageddon, Jesus Christ is not going to return.
Man, that's yeah.
And trust me, and they serious,
Yeah.
and they're doing it.
You had to have the third temple in there for the Antichrist to roll up in there, claim he's God, and then he gets destroyed, and the new city of Jerusalem comes down with all the gates for all the 12 gates for the 12 tribes and all that. But that was already fulfilled with Genghis Khan when he almost defeated Europe.
It's not
You
even
know, with
real. It's
plagues
not
and
going to happen.
it's gonna happen because of John Burst. You know, if you went and saw the Black
No,
Panther,
I'm not saying they gonna not create the chaos, but for
but
some
but
Jesus
but
guy
no,
coming, he
but
ain't
that to
coming.
be said, you gotta understand. Walt Disney Estate funds the John Birch Society. So when you go and
Right.
watch the Black Panther, or you go down here to your Catholic church, you're paying with your dollars the same implement that will destroy you and your own. And you may not say this is real or
True,
not.
but I have to tell you, but brother, hey brother, you have to understand something, okay?
Yeah.
Ever since the 1980 stolen election, where people, and I don't give Reagan credit for it, but people working within the Reagan campaign staff cut deals behind back doors with the Iran regime
Contra.
at the time to hold the U.S. hostages so that Jimmy Carter couldn't get reelected.
Right.
And then when Reagan came into the White House and began passing deregulation, the concept of boycotting the day is an old and failed concept, because you don't even know who owns something. Just because you see their name on it, you don't even know who owns it.
Yes.
Monopolies today have gone right back to the way it was before the stock market crashed in the 1920s. So even when you make a reference about Disney, you don't. There's stuff that you have in your house that you don't even know Disney is the one that made it, or owns the company that made it.
True. True.
Because that's six corporations right now control 97% of all media in this country. 6 corporations. That's it.
Mm.
So there's no way in the world anymore that you can watch television or go to a movie and not end up giving your dollars to the so-called enemy.
You're right. You're right.
But since you want to bring up Black Panther, that movie was stolen from Wesley Snipes.
Yes. Yes.
Back in 1994, and see, let me just tell you about. See, white America is good when it comes to marketing. When white America realized their company, when it comes to media, is failing, who do they always rely on to bring them out of the red back into the black?
A black person or a black female, to be
The
precise.
niggers. All right. So let me just tell you, folks, if you were born 1985 on, you would probably definitely wouldn't remember. There were only three major networks besides PBS. You had ABC,
Yes.
NBC, and CBS,
Yes.
and then PBS. Well, then all of a sudden, Fox decided to take on the three big networks. Now, Fox, of course, 20th Century Fox, they were involved with movies.
Mm-hmm.
So when they created their network to get themselves legitimate, what did they do? They did what ABC, NBC, and CBS never really did. They brought on lots of niggas.
That
So
they
you
did.
had TV shows like In Living Color. More
Yes.
importantly, Fox brought on the very first TV show. Now, mind you, CBS had a TV show, The Jeffersons, where a white guy was married to a black woman.
Lenny
But you
Kravitz,
would
mom.
never see a black man married to a white woman.
No.
However, Fox brought that on in a TV show called True Colors. Okay?
Mm.
Once Fox got themselves established, then most of those black shows disappeared, and they went back to making white TV shows. But I say this to you because Fox was very smart in their marketing. What they did was while ABC, CBS, and NBC were showing reruns during the summer months, Fox was still showing first time shows. How did they get away with it? On a Friday night, Fox would show one of their movies.
Right.
After all, the 20th Century Fox.
Yes, sir.
So not only was Fox promoting their own movies now without having to show them on ABC, NBC, or CBS, because they showed a movie on a Friday night, that gave them an extra Friday to show their TV show without it being a rerun. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So during the summer months, while ABC, NBC, and CBS were showing reruns, Fox was still showing first time ever seen shows. And Fox would bring on controversial shows like, X Files and everything else. So they knew how to promote themselves. Then UPN, and I don't know if you're familiar with UPN, but
Yeah.
UPN is highly connected to the movie industry also, Paramount Studios. So they saw the success of Fox. They tried to do the same thing, and they tried to bring on this one show. I think the guy's name was Douglas Pfeiffer, and that show was supposed to air back in I want to say 94, but colored folks out here in LA protested the show. Now, no, because the show was one of these slapstick kind of shows where this black guy was the assistant for Abraham Lincoln,
What?
and they made fun. They made fun of Civil War and slavery.
Mm.
So a lot of colored folks out here with the NAACP got all out there protesting at Paramount Studio, understandably so. So please, folks, listen to me very carefully, because I was trained by those who are running things, and I know how they operate. And I tried so hard to come on that show and tell folks, listen, don't protest that show.
Right.
Let it air. What the hell are you talking about? Well, they protested that show so, so successfully that when the show premiere aired, they didn't show the original pilot show. Now, why I'm telling you this, picture this in your mind. The original pilot show has the black guy who's Lincoln's assistant riding horseback. There's a black man who's hanging from a tree,
What?
and the black guy on horseback goes, "What a waste of a good pair of boots."
Oh, what kind of foolishness is this?
That's how
No,
they did
but
that.
here's my point. The rest of the country never got to see that because these Negroes out here who think they're fighting the system, and as I tell you folks, when you think you're fighting the system, you're doing exactly what the system wants you to do.
Yes.
They protested so loudly that when that show aired, the rest of America didn't see that, so they don't even understand what the protest was about. Now, I will say the show ended up getting canceled, but I'm just saying, had that show been allowed to air, as I was trying to get the blacks out here to get them to do, then the rest of this country would have seen just how filthy Paramount Studios and UPN really was.
Yes, I see now. I see what you're saying.
More importantly, I don't have to convince Negroes. how filthy UPN and Paramount are. We have to convince white folks. So all the white folks who saw the blacks protesting out here, when they saw the pilot show, they're like, "What's the big fuss about?" Because the show had been sanitized. See what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Even white folks who may have been on the fence, had they seen that show, they go, "Oh my God, no, this can't be tolerated." But they never even got to see it.
Wow.
So this is folks one. So if you all haven't listened or heard anything I said today, one, don't believe anything I tell you. You do your own damn research, and I challenge you to come back and call me a liar. Two, choose your battles and choose your wars wisely.
Yes.
Now let me bring this to right now. What's the biggest controversy in this country right now regarding race relations? What's everybody talking about?
Police brutality.
More importantly, specific. What's the biggest thing being discussed right now regarding race relations? What recent incident?
The Starbucks bullshit.
There you go. Now listen to me, folks. Back in 1994, I went on the Carl Nelson show, and this is what I told him. You know, all these white liberals who claim that they're out there down with the cause, fighting along with their black brothers and brown brothers. And yet they're sitting there in some damn Starbucks or some other, because there was other coffee shops, many of them are gone now, but these so-called coffee shops, I go, they don't ask where their coffee comes from. So I'm going to ask you brothers on that panel. When's the last time you seen a Juan Valdez Colombian coffee commercial?
And forever. I haven't seen one in a hell of a long time.
I don't even watch TV.
That's where the coffee's coming from.
It's coming from Mother Africa.
There you go. So while these white liberals sit in their coffee shop thinking they're being intellectuals and how they're down with the black cause, they don't ask where that coffee came from and how many people got killed.
Or where the chocolate.
Or how many children and slave labor are making that coffee.
Right.
So let me just tell you back in those days, okay? Because I know some of the people listening on the show are young. Rwanda. The Clinton administration allowed 1 million plus people to die in Rwanda, and the U.S. did not intercede. But you got one so-called chemical gas attack in Syria, and oh my God, we got to send in all kind of missiles.
Yes.
So let me expand on this, okay? You had the Tutsis and the Hutus, who had been warring for years. The chief of both, for lack of a better term, tribes, got together and signed a peace accord. Now, I wonder who got the two of them to do this, because I wouldn't have recommended it. But the two of them were put on the same airplane, and as they were flying on the same airplane, guess what happened to that airplane?
It got shot down, or it crashed.
They're both dead. The Civil War indicted, and more than 1 million plus people died in Rwanda.
Yes.
And what do you think Rwanda's #1 export was after that Civil War?
Coffee.
There you go. Yeah. And I can do this all over continent of Africa. So for all you white liberals listening out there, while you're sitting in your little Starbucks and these other places, you might want to ask where the hell that coffee's coming from that you think you're so cool as you order your special latte.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Meanwhile, so let's fast forward to now. I'd have to tell you this story because I don't want to be too serious here today. I got to be a little anecdotal. I don't do Starbucks. But first of all, McDonald's coffee is better, and Consumer Reports states that McDonald's coffee is better than Starbucks coffee. I'm not making that up.
Okay.
And it's cheaper, and it's far cheaper than Starbucks. But anyway, I went to a Starbucks here in Orange County only because it was next to a wax museum that was closing, and I was going to take photographs of this wax museum before it shut down. So I'm standing in this line, and there's this smoking hot white woman in front of me who happens to be pregnant, and I'm totally checking her out, dude. I was like, damn. And I guess she kind of heard me in line go, damn. So she looks at me, and I look at her hand, and I go, oh, shit, she's married, right? Which is a good thing since she's preggy.
Yeah.
And as she caught me looking at her, I just said, you know what? There is no woman on the planet more beautiful than a woman with child.
Yeah, they have a glow.
She started crying. And I'm like, oh, shit, here I'm in Orange County, only nigger in line, and I just made some white pregnant woman cry. I'm fucked, right? So she looks at me and she goes, "What is your name?" And I go, "Michael." And she goes, "You know what? That son of a bitch of a husband of mine will never know why our son's going to be named Michael."
Oh.
No, and then she says to me, "My husband has not looked at me once since I began showing."
Wow. Wow.
So I tell that story because that's like the last, and this was back in 2005. So I would imagine that little boy now is probably, hopefully, he's a healthy child growing
Yeah.
up, but he's like 13 years old now. But his name is Michael somewhere here in Orange County, all because of some Negro in line. Because all she wanted was to know that she was still attractive,
Yes.
and her husband couldn't even give her that. So I hope you men out there are listening, because if mama ain't getting it at home,
She'll get somewhere
and
else.
if I was still, and if I was still a bad boy I used to be in my old days, I'd have got that phone number, pregnant or not.
Well, I mean, look, you got to show your old girl you love her. You got to. If you don't, you're a fucking fool. Because the next motherfucker with a swinging cock will show her that appreciation. And next thing you know, you'll be
Well,
crying to your bro, drinking a beer. Oh, girl done sucked his dick.
oh, it's better than that. You brought up surfing earlier.
Yes.
See, back in the day when I was a bad boy, I'd walk down the beach, see these smoking hot white girls on the beach, and what are they doing? They're watching all the shit on the beach while their dumbass boyfriends are out in the water surfing.
Yeah.
And I'd go, damn, you're fine. There's no way in the world I would leave my woman on the beach to watch my stuff while I'm out surfing. And they're like, oh, they give me their phone numbers. I hook up with them. I start dating them. Guess who was watching my shit while I was out surfing? So I'm just telling you guys. But as you get older, hopefully you get wiser. And
Yes.
But I'm just telling you guys. I see a lot of lonely women down there on the beach while you. Oh, by the way, even if this motherfucker want to kick my ass, he out there in the water. By the time he paddle in, I'm gone. I done got them digits and left.
You know it. It's just like back here when these boys go deer hunting, right? They're out there in the woods, right? Their old girl back here at the house and shit. While he's out there hunting that doe, that chick's getting that fucking, hoe hollered out by the local fucking whoever. Yep. Listen, folks, you got to remember, whenever you meet this woman and you love her and fall in love, you got to keep that shit going. You can't get lazy with that shit. You get lazy with that shit, she will start looking elsewhere.
Tyrone gonna be over there
putting
in work.
I'll tell you something. Most of my mentors were expatriates from Nazi Germany that was brought over here in various programs.
Yes. Paperclip.
Also, Office of Naval Intelligence, old boys from World War II, and Office of Strategic Services, old boys from World War II. But you know who else were my mentors?
Who?
Older white women from those former Ottoman Empire countries, Austria, Hungary, Turkey.
Wow.
Who come to this country and let's just say they know where the bones are buried. Because while you folks are sitting here talking about Donald Trump, one, Donald Trump's not a billionaire. But two, since you said you watched Godfather 3, Michael Corleone's like, this is the real mafia.
Yes.
Because when he tried to become a legitimate businessman, he realized that old money in Europe, you don't fuck with that.
They was an assassins.
And these women came from countries where that old money still exists. Remember, the U.S. is a relatively young country compared to Europe.
Yeah. That's why they call it an experiment.
You got to go. Well, that's why they call it the New World. And that's why you have to go back to the days of William the Conqueror and all these other guys. So I've heard the term thrown around a lot with the right wing, especially the Tea Party libertarians. They love to use the term the deep state.
Yes.
I bought the movie, but I haven't watched it yet. But, I bought that. I'm sure it's going to be a bullshit movie, but I bought the movie Dunkirk. And that features, about Winston Churchill. Well, what most folks are alluding to today as the deep state during World War II, and I'm sure it's not going to be in the movie, Winston Churchill called it the High Cabal.
High cabal. What does that
Now,
mean?
it's interesting. I guess you got homework, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So, I posted this on my Facebook 2 days ago, and what do you think I started hearing right wing radio call it last night?
Conspiratorial, I'm sure.
High cabal. Whereas they've been using the term the deep state the whole time. Out of nowhere now they're using, and this happens to me all the time. I'll post stuff on my Facebook rants and stuff. So I guess I should let the listeners know right now, if they want to find out who I am, get in touch with me. Just find Mark from Anaheim.
Yes.
Political Sarcasm 101. And that's on Facebook. Mark from Anaheim, Political Sarcasm 101. And that's the fan page, not the group site. I got rid of the group site years ago, but you can't get rid of it, so it's still there, but it's the fan page. But when I posted that high cabal on my Facebook, and I'd be surprised because there's a panelist on there who follows me on that Facebook site. Just find the photograph that I post of Winston Churchill, Joseph Stalin, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, because I talk about it. Because when Trump did that missile strike, I told everybody, now Trump realizes he doesn't run the White House.
Right.
In the early 90s, somebody asked me, I go, and this is when Daddy Bush, rest in peace, Barbara Pierce Bush.
Yes.
When Daddy Bush was running against Bill Clinton, and people, asked me, well, who do I think was going to win the election? I go, well, one, you don't decide who wins the election. The Electoral College does.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you got Daddy Bush, Bubba Clinton, and Ross Perot all running. I go, first of all, the three of them are all related by blood, and their families all came from the same small town in England. And then I said, however, Bubba Clinton's going to win because he has more royal blood than the other two. What do you think was in the LA Times 2 days later?
What you
Bill
just
Clinton
said.
has more royal blood.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn. And then when Bill Clinton ran against Bob Dole, I go, so Carl Nelson asked me again, well, who's going to win the election? I go, Bubba Clinton. Oh, let me go back. What day of the week is election day on?
Typically Tuesday.
Always Tuesday. So, the Sunday, which is 2 days prior, here in Orange County, there was a 2-page ad in the Orange County, California, LA Times issue showing Bubba, Hillary, and Chelsea with the dog walking across the White House lawn. And it stated, we'd like to thank the following people for helping to put us in the White House.
Wow.
Now, who do you think's name was on that list?
Donors.
Including mine. So I'm just telling you, that was posted 2 days before the average person in this country even voted. And they were already telling you they were in the White House.
So,
however, what I was trying to say to you is this. Back in the 90s, and when I came on Carl's show, I said, presidents don't run this country. And the last president who thought he did should have never ridden through Dallas with the top down.
Right on.
Okay. Obama thought he ran this country. See how much gray hair he got in the short time he was in office.
Yep.
Well, Trump talks a lot of shit, and he's got all these people who they call his base. They're going to come in and clean out the deep state. Clean the deep state out my ass. There are more Goldman Sachs people working for Trump now than were in there in Obama's administration. More importantly, when I saw that missile strike, now I'm not going to take credit for this, but I did a radio show with Carl Nelson on August 30th, 2013. And I came on the show and I said, just like I did your show today, I go, I know the White House is listening because I'm on the radio. Barack Hussein Obama, don't fall for the okie doke. You drew that line in the sand, and if you order that missile strike, they will impeach you.
Yes.
Make Congress approve your missile strike, and they can't impeach you. Guess what Obama did the next day?
Made Congress approve his missile strike.
No, he canceled the missile strike and went to Congress to try to get them to approve it. Congress didn't approve it, So there was no missile strike.
Damn.
Because how could Congress impeach him if they gave him permission to do it? See what I'm saying?
Correct.
Meanwhile, hey, oh, by the way, that same day when Obama first drew the line in the sand, based on the same crap we're being told now, chemical weapons, Trump was one of the biggest critics of Obama. Now here you fast forward to 3 years later. Last weekend, Trump did the same exact thing that had Obama done it, he would have been impeached.
Oh,
and you don't hear
shit.
anybody saying a word about impeaching
shit.
Donald Trump.
Privilege. That's that privilege again.
That's white privilege.
Yes, sir.
That's white privilege. And for anybody out there who doesn't believe there's white privilege, I just keep it simple. See, I don't try to get all sophisticated and sound like I'm all intellectual and educated. I talk so the layman can understand. I talk so the layman can understand. There ain't no way in the world that Negro would have ever been president if his wife had naked photographs on the internet the way the first lady has naked freaky photographs on the internet.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say about white privilege.
There you go. Seriously.
There it is.
You know?
But I'm sorry, brother. You had a question for me? Because, you know, I don't want the listeners to say that you didn't give me enough time to talk. So since I've been on my little soapbox now, hang on, let me take a sip here because I wouldn't even be doing this show today if I hadn't gotten drunk before you fucking call me.
I'm such a bad influence.
We don't want you sober anyway.
No, a viewer did ask to ask Mark about the second sun. Do you have any information about a second sun in the sky?
Oh, I'm glad you said S-U-N instead of S-O-N.
Oh, yes.
Well, there's lots of second suns. First of all, the sun up there that we idolize and worship is nothing more than a star. It just happens to be the closest star to the U.S. and the rest of the Earth. No, I'm serious. It's just a star that's the closest to the Earth. The moon is a star. It's just that the moon burned out. That's why it's dark.
Oh, shit.
So when they say dark side of the moon, that's bullshit because all of the moon is dark. When you see what you see of the moon, that's just a reflection of the sun on the moon.
Yes.
So, I mean, to say, is there a second sun, that's kind of a big and ambiguous question because the sun is nothing more than a star. And what I will say is much of what we were taught growing up, because I never grew up. I got older, but I never grew up. But it's one of those things where many of the things that people in science acted like they were speaking, the gospel.
Yes.
They're finding out now. I'll just make it simple. I was told there were 9 planets. Now they're telling me one of the 9 planets is not even a planet, and there are hundreds of planets.
Yes.
So what I'm saying to you is man tries to pretend to be God. Man don't know shit.
What
and a lot of folks who have the ability to manipulate, a lot of people who have the ability to manipulate the media, they will propagate and repeat theories.
Right.
And that's all they are.
Right.
Okay? They're theories. And with science is ever-changing and every day learning new things. And sadly, much of what they learn, they don't share with the general public because then the public would have the same knowledge and information that they have, and they don't want that because they can maintain power and control over you.
Yes.
Especially, what's the greatest tool to control mankind?
The mind. The mind.
What's the greatest tool? What's the greatest tool to control?
Mass media. Mass media is the greatest tool to control
I'll say it even better. They can use mass media to use this tool to control the mind. So once again, what's the greatest tool to control the mind?
I would think more like sex.
Fear.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes. Yes. And that's where the Pope got in trouble when he said that the concept of hell has been misinterpreted in that private conversation with the generalists there. That's where he got in trouble.
He didn't say that.
What did he say?
But he didn't say that. And he didn't get in trouble. See, you need to stop blazing up, brother, because we already had this conversation. I'm drunk, and I remember I already explained this the last time I was on your show. The Pope is a Jesuit.
Yes.
I told you how Hitler killed the Jesuits.
Yes, he did.
Right now, there's a war going on in the U.S. intelligence community, but also going on worldwide. The Pope that we have right now did something that's never been done since the 17th century. He forced the head of the Sovereign Military Order of Malta to resign. So you got all these little Knights of Malta running around who want to start this all-out war caliphate with the evangelicals as their allies, and the Pope is standing in the way of an all-out war against Muslims. That's why, even though I'm not Catholic, I pray for the Pope every day because I know he's standing in the way of the so-called caliphate to bring back Jesus Christ that we talked about earlier.
Right.
This guy who allegedly had this conversation with the Pope is old, senile, and there's no recording of it. So all you have is this guy's word claiming the Pope said that. And you're repeating the bullshit. And I've already explained this to you.
Yes.
They want to bring this Pope down, dog.
I do got
Jesuits don't become popes. Jesuits don't become popes. And this guy is a Jesuit, and he's standing in the way of the. Let me just make it simple for you. Don't believe me, folks. Don't listen to anything I tell you. Just Google Hitler hated Jesuits.
Hitler hated Jesuits.
And you see what you come up with. Meanwhile, if you look at Hitler's cabinet, most of those guys were so-called Catholics.
Yes.
That were all into the occult and everything else.
There was even a picture of,
I'm just telling you,
Hitler on a Catholic Pope's knee, shaking his hand.
Now let's take the Marine Corps for example. In the Marine Corps, we have 3 medals. You know, R. Lee Ermey died last weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was not a gunnery sergeant. He was a staff sergeant, but because of that movie, the Marine Corps made him an honorary gunnery.
Gotcha.
I have several mutual friends with him, but I was never close to him because he's one of these guys who are to the far right with the Tea Party libertarians, and I ain't got time for that shit.
Gotcha.
However, I felt badly for him because a few years back, his house burned down up here in Lancaster with most of his memorabilia. So he was never really the same after that. And in the Marine Corps, you have 3 shooting medals. You have a marksman, which is all Oswald was. But I will have to say, even as a marksman in the Marine Corps, that would consider you a sniper in the civilian world. And you have sharpshooter, and then the highest you have is expert. Now, the highest you have is expert, but guess which one most Marines would rather have?
Which one?
The sharpshooter. And nobody asks, why is it the sharpshooter has the German Iron Cross with the Marine Corps emblem on it?
Yes.
Even though the expert is the highest, that one doesn't have the Marine Corps emblem on it. It's got that Maltese Iron Cross with the Marine Corps emblem on it for a sharpshooter medal. And you folks look that up who don't know what I'm talking about and see if I'm lying to you.
Why is that, Mark?
And that's by the way, since you said you saw Godfather 3, it's that Maltese cross that they award Michael Corleone at the beginning of the movie.
Yes, sir.
It's the island of Malta where Daddy Bush and Gorbachev met to sign the end of the Cold War.
Yes.
Humphrey Bogart, the Maltese Falcon. Nobody fucks with Malta.
I want to share something with
Pope nobody fucks with the Malta. And the Pope, he's rocking the boat because he's a Jesuit and he's fucking with Malta.
Damn.
I just told you.
Damn.
I just told you. The female journalist.
Blew up. Blew the fuck up. Before I forget, I gotta say this. I was checking out my analytics on this channel. There's one person from Belize, and I never heard of the country of Belize until I started talking to you. There's one person there that watched every video that you do. I mean, 100%. In my analytics, it shows me.
From the beginning to the end.
From Belize. I don't know who they are, but whoever you are, please have mercy on us, dude. We're just trying to make the world a better place because after talking to Brother Mark, other people, I realize that we're really talking about some very real shit here. Some very extremely real shit. And that's the beautiful thing about being in America. We can say what we will. We need to support our police, our local law enforcement. We need to support our local National Guards in whatever state you live in. And obviously our National Defense Forces. Because of the fact that, folks, what Mark said was so true. America is new to the scene. We are the Johnny come latelys. America, in its conception, is a very beautiful ideal. The way it has been implemented, not so beautiful. But we ever get to the point to where we treat every man, woman, and child with dignity and respect underneath the full governance of law, we'll be all right. We got, like Mark said tonight, they have made redlining illegal. Not illegal, but legal. While we're sitting here worrying about whose panties on who or what type of sexual position Trump's getting, they slid this by.
Well, if she's like any ordinary tramp, then she probably didn't have none on anyway.
Well, it's not about this being a tramp. It's about being endowed with your rights, with your personal rights as a human being. You know, I'll die for your rights. I'll die for Brother Mark's rights. I'll die for, Judge Jones' right, Judge Joe Brown's right. Because we're all in this together. We're not separate. We're not islands. We have to come together. And I said this before. If we cannot come together, then this place has to burn down. It has to. Because the oppression has to end. And it has to end soon. There's no reason why men and women cannot be afforded the right to hold a position in corporations or business that they deserve because they have the talent to do the job. Like the brother that was at Starbucks, right? There's another brother that was at Kohl's, and they said straight up, you have to get out of Kohl's because we do not have enough associates to watch you.
I seen that. I seen those two guys. Let the school bus go by. But I seen they had those two guys on Good Morning America, the ones that got the Starbucks dudes.
Right.
I seen an interview on Good Morning America, and it was, to me, in my personal opinion, it seemed like they kind of sold out for money. This is just what I got from the interview.
Let's give Starbucks a prop. The people that were running that particular store got reprimanded. All right, and then the gymnasium at
I'm saying is the two guys that got arrested.
Right.
When they was on Good Morning America, they didn't call out that situation for what it was, but the person that was filming it was doing it.
Because we all know, man.
Because their lawyer told them if you bring up racism and you make this about race, you're gonna lose money. So they sold out, and that will allow more corporations to continue to allow their employees to do dumb shit like that. Because you had two brothers right there that should have called that shit out for racism, and they didn't do it. And when Robert Robbins asked them about was this racism, they didn't say nothing. The lawyer had to talk about it.
What?
Yes, and you can find that on the internet too. That's why I found it at. That's all I'm saying is a lot of that stuff just be off the chain, because everybody got melanin in their skin ain't down for the cause. It's time to start thinning the herd.
I really gotta start watching news and stuff. I mean, seriously, folks, I have been talking.
Is Mark still on there?
Yeah, he's still on. Mark, you still here? Oh shit!
Oh, well, then we lost Mark.
Hold on, folks. Don't panic.
We probably don't go. We went on your rant.
Oh, stop.
I got a question. He's gonna call Mark back. Tabitha Wood, no. I'm gonna ask your question. Consider this. I'm gonna ask your question. So just I think it's Cornelius Paisley. I'm gonna ask your question. As soon as we get connected back with Mark. I wonder how long he was off.
Is this Tandy Newton?
Yeah, their representative. I'm so sorry. Man, this stupid ass tablet. But what we were basically talking about was the Starbucks.
I said nobody fucks with the Knights of Malta and the Jesuit priest, who's now the Pope. is fucking with the Knights of Malta.
Mm.
There's a major war going on within the intelligence community here in the U.S. Trump is creating his own private army
Yes.
because then they don't have to take the taxpayers' money, which means Congress will have no ability to have any oversight over them.
Right.
And don't be surprised if once those guys at the Mexican border are put into place, they're not replaced by a private security group on the border.
Damn.
And all I will say to you is this: the same tool that could be used to keep other folks out can be used to keep you in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As shown in the movie, well, the television series also, Handmaid's Tale.
Man, this is just so fucking deep, dude. It really is. I mean, it goes beyond.
Is he on there?
You still there, Mark? Oh God. Hold on.
Well, I'll
No,
just
he's
say
still
this:
there.
as I'm speaking to you right now, we have U.S. Special Forces deployed in 173 countries. The U.S. Army this year was projecting on enlisting approximately 80,000 folks. Here it is, nearly May, and the most they've been able to recruit is 20,000. Why? Most can't pass a background check. Most of them are fat as fuck, so they can't get into the program on a weight program.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. But the reason they need 80,000 plus, because we're headed for a world war. Now, I'll just tell you this seriously. During the Vietnam War, if a person was deployed twice and tried to go a third time, he would be considered eligible for, going to see the shrink, a Section 8.
Right.
Now you got guys who have done 10, 11, 12, 13 tours, and people in this country brag about it like it's something good.
But it's not.
Nobody should be getting deployed 12, 13 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq. Worse, there's a drug that many of the Syrians have been taking since 2012. And this drug keeps you up 72 hours or more. You don't need any sleep. You don't eat. And you kill people without any empathy.
What is it?
You don't turn that shit off when the person comes home. So for you esteemed gentlemen there, you do realize lots that serve in the armed forces are also in the reserves, right?
Right.
And you do realize many of those reservists are local cops, right?
True. That is very true.
So
Sheriff.
do you guys ever ask how many of these controversial shootings that made no sense involve some cop who may have come back home that was deployed to Afghanistan or Iraq?
No. Oh my God. No. No.
If you guys want an idea of what I'm talking about, see the movie Jacob's Ladder.
I've heard of that
That's
one.
a Vietnam. Well, it's based on the Vietnam War, but they were trying to create the super soldier.
Right.
And that's what's going on now. Like, you go back and look at movies like Universal Soldier, and there have been quite a few Hollywood movies showing you that theme. They're getting closer every day.
Well, Universal Soldier.
And then I'm sorry?
Universal Soldier was basically about them augmentating a human being to be a super soldier.
I just said. That's the same theme in when in Syria, where they're taking these guys and giving them these drugs that's making them super soldiers. They go 72 hours or more straight. They don't need to eat, and they kill without empathy.
Man, that's just too harsh. That's too harsh to believe.
And then, of course, later on, they were replacing with cyborgs.
Right.
Or AI.
Oh my God, man. I mean.
Now, hey, brother, you ready for this?
Right.
And for all you folks out there who might be doubting Thomas's, this is April. You know what Assad said back in February?
What did he say?
Will you please take your super soldiers with you when you leave my country?
Oh, God. That means they've been operating in Syria all this time.
Without empathy.
That's
So you folks Google that one. Assad super soldiers in Syria and see what you come up with.
You make me want to
But,
do it right now. I
hey,
got a
man.
question from a young woman. I gotta pull it up.
Right?
Huh? I'm getting the question
Disregard.
now. I gotta stroll through it. Okay, I got a question for you from Tabitha Wood. Do you know anything regarding the Wells Fargo executive who was killed on Southwest?
Well, I'm not sure if I understand what that means. Is that Wells Fargo killed in Southwest, like an LAPD division, or Southwest on the airline? I don't.
I'm assuming, I guess that person that died on Southwest Airline was an executive for Wells Fargo. I guess I'm not sure, but I know somebody died on that plane where that engine blew up. But that's the way.
Oh, you talking about the female that got sucked through the damn thing? The recent incident they had
Yeah,
with the airplane, and now they're grounding all those planes, saying there's some kind of structural.
yeah, that's all I can think of. Yeah, that's what it's got to be.
Well, Tabitha, I will never come on this radio show and try to impress anybody or a / television show, and I don't have any personal information regarding that matter.
Okay, and
Never met a woman named Tabitha that wasn't hot.
well, maybe she'll send in a picture. Maybe she'll send us.
Well, hey, intelligence agencies love to do psychological profiles on you,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll purposely send you a woman who they think you're going to be more likely to be attracted to. So you think you're married to this woman, you don't realize the whole time her job is to keep an eye on your dumb ass.
Well, I wish they send something. I don't know.
They even did that in the movie, especially if you look at the first movie, Total Recall.
Mm-hmm.
His wife's not even his wife; she's already married to somebody else in the agency.
Oh, I wouldn't be.
She was his handler, and he didn't even know it.
I would not be surprised. This question's from somebody wrote this question in called consider this. Mark, what's Trump's interest in protecting the legal marijuana industry? And that was from consider this.
I have no personal information that Trump is trying to protect the legal marijuana industry. Did he not select William Sessions?
Yeah.
As Attorney General.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and he had said some crazy
and
stuff.
How does William Sessions feel about marijuana?
Oh, we all know how he feel. He holds no bones about
tell
that.
Tell the listeners, because how does he feel?
He think all people that smoke marijuana is bad people. Every last one of them.
Let me make this a little bit more relevant for the conscious black folks out there. William Sessions thought the Ku Klux Klan was an okay organization until he discovered that many of them like to smoke pot. See, he don't have no problem with them hanging niggas, but now that they smoke marijuana, we got a problem.
Right.
So let me ask you a question, brother. Are there states around the country legalizing marijuana?
Yep.
Does the federal government legalize marijuana?
Nope.
So what's the difference between that and slavery?
I couldn't hear you. Start breaking up.
What's the difference between that and the issue on slavery?
Wow. None.
No.
See, this is how they set you up for the Civil War. If the federal government doesn't recognize individual states' rights to have slaves, what makes the federal government will recognize your individual states' rights to have marijuana?
True.
Once again, the dumbass white liberals who think they're fighting the system, because the one thing the progressives and the Tea Party have in common, they want to smoke dope.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they just open up the can of worms to make it legal for the federal government to come in and crack down on the states.
Right.
Yeah, because
By the way, I should tell you this. What was the first state to legalize marijuana?
California?
no, it's
Hell no.
recreation.
California, listen to me. Listen to me. California is not a liberal state.
No, it's not.
So I'm going to ask you again. What state was the first one to legalize marijuana?
It's Colorado.
I'll say Washington.
No, it's Colorado. For recreational, they
Was
were the
it?
first state. Yeah.
Colorado.
Now let me enlighten you on Colorado. Colorado is always one of the top 5 states for murder suicide.
Mm.
Colorado is also one of the top 5 states for stolen dynamite in this country.
Mm.
Colorado is full of far right wing and so-called progressive lefts who hate the U.S. federal government. And as I'm speaking to you right now, it's a Friday. The governor of Colorado is deciding whether he's going to recriminalize marijuana.
No way.
I'm going out there
Like
too.
I told you, I'll never come on the show and lie to you.
I thought they were making so
you
much
folks
money.
Google that one, because this ain't in the news yet, brother. But you're going to hear about it. The governor of Colorado is now considering making marijuana a criminal act again.
Oh, shit. Fucking
So, all these dumbasses out there who put their names on a list for a petition to legalize marijuana, all these dumbasses out there who've opened up marijuana medicinal clinics,
yes,
you willingly gave the federal government your name.
Yes. Just like all the dreamers. Just like all the dreamers. Obama,
Yeah.
Come on, dreamers. Come on.
Blaze that one. Hey, blaze that one on 420.
Yeah. Listen, folks, marijuana is illegal in America, period. I don't give a fuck what you think you know. You better get with it or get fucking devastated by the consequences of your actions. You know? I mean, it's sad. You can kill a baby in America. You can kill an unborn baby in America.
It's a fetus.
But you can't smoke a joint.
It's not a baby, it's a fetus.
No, it is what it is.
It comes out the womb.
I mean, when it came out womb, it'll be a human, though.
Well, that's true. It will be human.
You know?
It better not smoke no marijuana neither.
It better not.
Or Jeff Beauregard.
You know, listen.
Jim Crow Sessions gonna come get you.
My whole thing is this here.
Get it right. That is
you like that?
William Beauregard Sessions.
Yes. William Beauregard Sessions.
You gotta throw the Jim Crow in there too.
You know, I know, man. What messed
Jim
me
Crow
up
Sessions.
of this whole conversation tonight was when he said redlining was made legal once again. While we've been sleeping, folks, redlining is legal. And like Bubba Dick Gregory has said, the reason why you have these accidents in the inner city because the lighting's bad, the streets are narrow, there's more people per capita. That's what Dick Gregory said. And his words are still true. You know, people wake up.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
I told you earlier about the super soldier, and you said you heard about the movie Jacob's Ladder.
Yes.
In that movie Jacob's Ladder, they allegedly gave a chemical to these U.S. Army soldiers, hoping to turn them into super soldiers. But instead, they started turning on each other and killing each other. So what would happen if I dropped that in the drinking water of, let's say, a black neighborhood like in...
oh, my God.
oh,
my God. The carnage will ensue. Listen, folks, my departed mama told me about how they sprayed up in St. Louis back in the 50s. You know, Princess told you guys the reason why people will be killing people in the hood is because they come over the sky with this juice. We're here to tell you once again tonight, because we've been with you for a long time now. You guys are getting chemically dosed with shit that make you act irrational. That's
You don't
why
need
you
to
trip.
spray the skies. You look at most of the so-called predominantly black neighborhoods, and those old homes were painted with what kind of paint?
Lead.
Lead
Yes.
leads to more increased violence.
Yes, sir. That's why it was documented.
Most of the pipes that bring your water in, guess what those pipes were made out of?
Lead.
Lead leads to more increase in violence.
Man, you know, and folks, this is your lives. This is what you're consuming on a day-to-day. You're wondering why you're smacking around your old lady. It's not the alcohol. It's that lead. It's those psychotropic drugs, you know, the oxycodones and all that stupid shit. It's all that shit.
Keep Rush Limbaugh out of this.
Oh, stop. We ain't talking about illegal nannies and maids getting your drugs for you while you're sitting there saying all drug dealers need to die. Motherfucker, you need to be the first one in the fucking line. You fat bastard. You know, I'm sorry. You know, Rush Limbaugh is a piece of fucking shit. He's a drug fucking lady. He's just as bad as Alex Jones. Listen to Kelly Jones. She tells you Alex Jones was drunk as fuck when he was telling you those fucking stories back in the day. Probably high too. So, you know.
I told you that's why that
fuck
shit was
was
so
I'm telling you these stories. What's your point?
Will you quit it? I'm trying to get Kelly Jones to come on the show. You know, but
by the
not
way,
to bash.
Alex is another one. I'll come on this show today, and I guarantee you, before the next week is out, something we said on this show, Alex Jones will bring somebody on to talk about. Or
You
use
know
my
why?
words.
That little Schroeder guy that he got is from St. Louis. That's only 30 fucking minutes. He's like, you know what, you piece of shit, Schroeder. We should have these guys from the other morning show because they can get people, and your dumbasses are just on my coattail. But you know what?
Since
I don't
you're
want
making everything personal here now, and you're in Missouri, I have a question for you. No, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How come you all don't talk about this major landfill in Missouri that's on fire, and nobody can put the fire out, and that fire includes radiation in it?
Yeah.
Oh, the Bridgeton.
Yeah, he's talking
Bridgeton.
Oh, that's our dirty little secret now. You know, I mean, those folks up in Bridgeton don't know. Just
they
like,
know.
Yeah, I mean,
they know. Man, that's just they got no plans on doing anything.
They don't give a fuck about us.
No, because the majority
we're
of the
expendable,
people,
dude.
Stop.
People that live up there.
You know why I like that damn landfill?
Why?
Because everybody wants to make this a black and white thing.
Oh, yeah.
There are far more poor white folks that are suffering because of that landfill than colored folks. They don't care about your color. They care about your class.
Yes. Yes. They do.
No, that landfill ain't going nowhere. That landfill's going to stay right there. And the people that can afford to move out, they moved out. The ones that's still there now, they ain't got nowhere else to go. That's why they still there.
I just want to say it on the record. Poor white folks out there, you're not our enemy. You're our ally. We have to all come up together, folks.
Oh, that's Trump. That's Trump's base.
Well, unfortunately, yeah, but
and you know why?
Why?
Because no matter how poor they are, and no matter how many times Trump screwed them over, at least they ain't a nigger.
Yep. Damn.
Yep. And they'll rather eat spam than to join us.
There you go. Damn. Hey, why you gotta go there, man? I'm getting ready to cook some spam right now.
What's wrong with you?
If y'all follow the spam index, you will see where the true economy lies. When spam sales going out the roof, that means that they're sitting there. But I want to ask you all this. How long do you think those poor white brothers and sisters are going to sit out there and eat spams when black brothers and sisters are in the jails eating decent food? How long do you think that'll go down before they're like, fuck this?
Not very long, and I'll tell you why. The fucking price of spam is going up.
Damn. Damn, dude.
Well,
we can't catch a break.
Who makes spam anyway? Because I know they're loving this.
Oh,
Because I got a can. Hey, I got a can 2 feet away from me. Hang on.
we gave the pop.
Only on the other morning show, folks.
I know, you know, guys, we're doing this for y'all because this is what you wanted. You wanted Brother Mark on? We got Brother Mark on.
So there better not be no BS in the comments this week.
We're getting tired of the haters.
It says Patrick Weaver on here.
Oh, stop! I can't stand spam.
I'll tell you what. Oh, it's still made by Hormel.
Hormel.
Yeah, Hormel.
Your number one leader in Vienna sausages.
No, and you know what? It doesn't have the flavor that it used to have 20 years ago.
It doesn't, huh? So they mixed it up.
But you know what sucks, man? I remember people used to make fun of us for eating Spam. And this used to be my daily sandwich at LAPD, man. Spam, Velveeta, some Miracle Whip. Hook me up with some damn grape Kool-Aid. I was good to go, man. Nah, because, see, you can't buy my ass. So all these other cops would go to these restaurants. Yeah. They call them pop spots. You know what a pop spot is?
Basically where you get free goodies.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Free or half price. Mm-hmm. I used to bring my own, right? And then all of a sudden, man, now Spam has become like the cool thing to eat, and the fucking prices have gone up, man.
Yeah, just like chicken wings. Back in the day, you used to get chicken wings for shit. Mm-hmm. And make that shit up, eat good. Now that's like a delicacy. You know what I'm saying? You want blue cheese with that, sir? Motherfucker, some blue cheese. I just want
So I'll tell you something else about Spam.
Hot sauce.
I could buy Spam in the old days, and it would last for 20 years. And I bought this Spam here at Costco about 2 months ago, and on the bottom of the pan, on the bottom of the can, it says, "Best used by October 2020."
Oh shit!
What the hell?
Shit! Listen,
so when
folks,
the Civil War starts, I can't even keep this motherfucker on the shelf to keep me alive while I'm fighting you motherfuckers off, man. Yes.
Tell it. What you should do is buy a bunch of McDonald's burgers and store them.
Stop,
those
man.
seem to last longer.
You quit. McDonald's burgers.
Yeah. See, this is why we got disconnected last time.
Yeah, you know. Start talking that truth. You know what I'm saying?
In fact, if you guys, since you guys are outside blazing it up, you better look for that one truck with that radar that's trying to track down where you're pumping the show from, because they're going to be shutting your ass down here.
And there ain't no joke, because on our Wi-Fi network, there's a FBI TAP van 19 on the circuit out here. FBI TAP, wiretap van. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm just a guy in Missouri. You know, if I'm saying truth, say ouch, because I'm not sorry about a damn thing.
Right.
You know, I'm not.
Hang on. Let me hang on. Let me take a sip first so I can tell you this story. Now, well, let's just say, folks with my background, you know what we call FBI?
Yeah.
Famous but incompetent.
Stop it. Stop it.
And fan belt inspectors.
Fan belt.
When I was in high school, I used to play at the FBI Academy. And I'm not going to say what I did there because I know the FBI doesn't have a sense of humor and they don't have a statute of limitations. So I'm not going to tell you what I did over there.
There you go.
But I have a question for you. What federal agency investigates bank fraud?
FBI.
And what federal agency investigates the mafia?
The FBI.
And who is Trump trying to take down?
The FBI.
Duh!
But wouldn't that allow his Russian mafia brothers and sisters to get more of the global share of plunder if you take out the American FBI?
You want to bring the Russians into this, right?
Oh, unfortunately, yeah. Yes.
Do you know what the Democratic Party did today?
No.
They officially filed a lawsuit against the Russians and the Donald Trump campaign staff for interfering with the 2016 elections.
No way.
I
No,
just,
what? Yeah,
it's just,
I thought Mueller was done. I thought it was bullshit. It's done.
You keep allowing them to shape your public opinion.
man, that's
You got this guy Michael Cohen, right?
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with the Russian collusion.
There
There
wasn't.
are several different investigations going on, and people keep trying to throw them out there like they're all related to each other. They're not.
Damn.
And besides, who's responsible more than anybody else for bringing down Hillary Clinton during that campaign?
Who's more responsible? I would say Steph Rich.
No, her her assistant, Wilma Aberdeen.
Wilma Aberdeen, yeah. Her little tramp.
Okay.
No, and why is she more responsible than anybody else?
Because of the stuff that was on Anthony Weiner laptop.
Yeah.
There you go. Because her dumbass husband, Anthony Weiner, is an idiot.
Well,
now,
Hillary
she should have divorced him the first time around.
Yes, sir.
Because of what he was doing.
Yep.
But instead, she wanted him to watch the child so she could run around with Hillary.
Yeah. Getting
and
finger
then
banged.
Next thing you know, she accidentally sent Hillary's emails to his website.
Yep.
To his smartphone. Meanwhile, because he's a pervert going on porno sites.
Yes, sir.
Many of those porno sites are run by Russians.
Hackers.
Guess what the Russians found when they went on hacked his website?
All that
email
data. All that data.
So, as I'm speaking to you, I'm telling you right now, it's a Friday because they love to do stuff on a weekend when you're not paying attention. The Democratic Party has filed a formal civil lawsuit involving WikiLeaks, the Trump administration, and Russian bots.
Damn, dude. Damn, man.
All that does is
we're being played for fucking suckers as Americans.
Because
we're being played as fucking suckers.
Because
dude.
the majority of the American citizens are suckers. I explained this numerous of times on different shows.
Bullshit.
This whole Russia crap. I explained this numerous of times, and people still think that this stuff is actually legit.
Look, I'm gonna say fuck that shit. I love America. If we can get it implemented to everyone equally, it would be fucking heaven on earth. America is fucking great, man. It is. If we can.
So you want me to pee on your parade here, Mr. I Love America?
Stop.
Pee all on it.
Stop.
Would you like? You want me to?
He on one right now.
First of all, you're buying into the bullshit propaganda. This is not America. America is everything from the top of North America to the bottom of South America. This is only the United States of America.
True.
So when you refer to this country as America, you're doing the same bullshit as the white imperialists in this country think that they own everything.
True. That's true.
In fact, since I was taught French by the Vietnamese, and I know French, we don't refer to this as America. We refer to it as États-Unis. You look at all the other countries, and they always refer to it as United States.
Yes. Well, the ideals of the United States of America, North America, is great. Personal property, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to pursue, your little deal. It's a great ideal.
Where do you hear this bullshit from?
Stop. It's what we want.
I'm sorry. Hang on.
It's what we were taught to believe.
I'm cutting myself off. Okay. All right. So listen. Let me ask you a question. What gives you the right to vote?
The Constitution. My right as an American citizen.
Bullshit. There is absolutely nothing in the U.S. Constitution that gives you the right to vote.
Well, then where does it come from?
Spare me your patriotic bullshit.
Stop, man.
You're
a Marine Corps major. You're supposed to be more patriotic.
Let me refresh your memory. Women didn't have the right to vote in this country until 100 years ago.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, that was a
tragedy.
So,
if it's in the Constitution, how could women only get the right to vote 100 years ago?
That is true. That is true.
And what's really wild is a nigger had the right to vote before a white woman could.
That is true. She came over with the boy on the boat. Yeah, you can't vote.
So my point is, once again, I'm asking you, what gives you the right to vote in this country?
I'm assuming my state laws.
I think it was the Voting Act or some shit.
One white man said you could.
Oh, stop! Will you quit it? Will you quit it?
Hey,
Somebody's coming.
you're the one. Hey, you're the one that said the Constitution.
Yeah, I know I did.
And then you try to play this shit off of me because I'm a Marine Corps officer. I may be a Marine Corps officer, but I promise your listeners I wasn't going to lie to them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I did.
There ain't a goddamn thing in the There's not a goddamn thing in the Constitution that gives any of us the right to vote, because the only people who were supposed to vote in this country were white,
yes,
rich property owners. Male,
yes, sir.
white, rich property owners.
You're right. You're right. And I'm glad you bust me out on that bullshit, so the people listening to this will get it, the total breakdown. You know?
You'll sit in the comments.
I'll tell you what cracks me up. I'm going to ask you guys a question. What does the Confederate flag look like?
It should be white with a blue stripe and a red stripe.
The good old bars and stars.
Not the red with the
and
bars and stars.
And that's why I'm asking you the question. Because all these people around the country repeat this bullshit lie. Oh, Nikki Haley, you know.
Yes.
The one they said, we already got a raghead in the White House. We don't need a raghead in the governor's office. Biggest whore at Clemson. But anyway, so Nikki Haley, she brings the flag down in South Carolina.
Yep.
That is not the Confederate flag.
That's a battle flag of General
Lee. That is the rebel battle flag.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Confederate flag has red, white, and blue stripes with 13 stars in a circle.
Yes.
Now, I live here in Orange County. Right here in Fullerton, California. So the same city where the Tea Party Libertarian head for the females, she posted an email with the chimpanzee family with Obama as the baby chimpanzee and goes, that's why we know he don't have a birth certificate. As I'm speaking to you right now, there's a house in Fullerton that is flying the Confederate flag, but people in this country are so dumbed down and ignorant because it's not that stars and bars flag. Right. They don't even know what it is.
Yep. Right. You know?
So that stars and bars is not the Confederate flag.
You know,
it's the rebel battle flag.
What Mark's saying is so true.
Confederate.
So hang on. So what I'm trying to tell you, a little over a week ago, I was on Carl Nelson's show. And Carl asked me if I thought the Civil War was still coming. I go, everything's going according to plan.
Unfortunately.
Now, I didn't even know it at the time, but as I was saying that to him on the radio, I'm from South Carolina. Guess what 3 guys in South Carolina secretly introduced into the South Carolina legislation while I was telling Carl Nelson that?
What?
If the federal government passes a law to confiscate legally bought guns, South Carolina will succeed from the Union.
No.
Look that fuck. Hey, you look that up, motherfucker.
Damn no. No. We can't do this again, folks. We can't.
And sometimes you gotta let them.
Well, you busy worried about whether Stormy Daniels had her panties on? You don't have a clue to what's really going on in this country.
I just want to say
after
something.
After all, I started the show off by telling you one of my former LAPD recruits sent me a Facebook message less than 12 hours ago saying, when the Civil War starts, you're going to be in my rifle sight.
Brother, you get to Missouri, we'll make sure that bullshit don't happen.
Yeah, right. That's what you told me when Quantrell and the boys were running shit.
Oh, stop it. You stop. This ain't no run with the fucking devil. This ain't no run with the devil. But
I'm glad you brought, I'm glad you brought that up because one of my favorite movies is Ride with the Devil.
Yes, sir.
In that movie, Quantrill and the boys burned down
Lawrence County.
that public school. And you need to understand, folks, these hatreds of the U.S. government, John Birch Society,
Yes.
Tea Party libertarians,
Yes.
they don't call it public schools.
Government schools.
They call them government schools.
Yes, sir.
And they don't like the idea that a government school is teaching you to send your child to school with niggers, gays, and everybody else.
Yes, sir.
You go back and look at the movie Ride with the Devil, and the number one threat to them in Kansas was that government school that allowed niggers, whites, boys, girls, and everybody else, Native Americans, all go to school together.
Right.
And they burned that fucking school to the ground.
And the reason why, because Abraham Lincoln said the only regiment or full division of literate men was the colored regiments. Those are the only ones who had the quill and pen, reading the fucking books while they were not fighting the fucking rebel scum that were attacking the Union.
Ulysses S. Grant said that.
No.
Well, okay, since you're going to bring that up, have you ever heard of Montfort Point Marines?
Yes, sir. Only through you, though. I'll be honest.
Well, I'm one of the guys who fought behind the scenes for years to get them recognized, and then finally Congress recognized them a few years ago.
Yes, sir.
And when Clint Eastwood made this World War II movie, I went out and protested because he did not include any blacks in it, even though blacks asked him, please remind us that there were blacks in the movie, and he refused to before the filming even was completed.
Yes.
And so, of course, Hollywood cut some deal where Clint Eastwood's movie wasn't recommended for an Academy Award, and neither was some other left-wing movies. But I say this to you because you brought up the USCT.
Yes.
Now, what is the USCT, sir? United States Colored Troops. All right?
Right. And
just like the Montfort Point Marines, guess what the United States Colored Troops had in common?
All melanated men.
They were all black house Negro Masons.
No. That's the birth of the bootleg.
I think I began this show by telling your folks I will not come on this show and lie to the listeners.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, that breaks my heart, dude. Breaks my heart. Because I know where this is going.
Those are the only ones they could trust.
I know where this is going.
And the same thing is true, because let's go back now and finish what I started. Who came out and said, my cops did nothing wrong in Philadelphia?
Oh, no, not the cheat. No, not him.
House nigger, chief of police, wasted no time telling his white masters, we did nothing wrong.
This is...
So now let me go back and elaborate on Starbucks, okay?
Yes, sir.
You got people out here in L.A. like Buck Sexton right now. Thank God he's leaving town soon because I can't handle the stench much longer. Now, he was an asset for CIA and asset for NYPD, but he's one of those John Birch Society too, like so many others, who only tell you, well, I should say this, they lie by omission. To shape public opinion among the deplorables, the poor white trash, whatever you want to call them, they come out and talk about Philadelphia, and this is what they say. 2 black guys go into a Starbucks. They want to use the bathroom, but they haven't bought anything, so the manager said no. Then they go sit down in the restaurant. They don't buy any coffee, and the manager asks them to leave, and they say no. The manager calls the cops. They give the cops a bunch of crap, and the cops arrest them for trespassing because they refuse to pay. Well, let me refresh you guys' memories on what that was left out by Buck Sexton and everybody else on the far right wing talking the story. 1, I'm a member of Barnes & Noble. Many of the Nobles have Starbucks coffees inside of them. I spend so much money at Barnes and Noble. I'm often offered free coffee and a whole bunch of other stuff at Starbucks, and I'm like, hell no, because I've already explained this to you earlier about Rwanda and the coffee and how
Yes.
white liberals think that they're so cool.
Right.
Anyway, when I'm in the Barnes and Nobles, I see dozens of white folks and Asian folks sitting down here in Fullerton, California at Barnes and Noble. They don't buy nothing in Starbucks, and they damn sure don't buy any of the magazines, but they turn the magazine section of Barnes and Noble into a library because they sit there and read magazines all goddamn day long and don't make a purchase for anything.
Right.
And ain't nobody kicking their asses out.
Right.
So let me refresh you all what really happened in Philadelphia. You got two black guys, businessmen. They go into Starbucks, try to use the bathroom. Dumbass white manager says, hell no.
Right.
So they go sit down, wait for their damn buddies. Manager comes over and says, hey, you guys ain't buying nothing. Y'all need to leave.
Right.
We're going to buy something, but we're waiting for our buddy to show up, and we're going to all buy our stuff together. 2 minutes later, she's already called the fucking cops.
Yes.
So Philadelphia PD, which always has lots of house niggers, including Willie Williams, who came to L.A., but Willie loved me, and I'll have to tell you all about that one day. So, anyway, 6 cops. I mean, do we really need 6 cops? They show up at Starbucks because the white massa call us, so we got to go to Starbucks. So 6 cops show up at Starbucks and go, hey, y'all need to leave. And the 2 brothers go, hey, like we told the manager, we're waiting for a buddy of ours, and when he gets here, we're going to order. No, you're going to get out of here now. So they get into an argument with the cops. Cops arrest them. As they're being escorted out, their buddy shows up who happens to be white, and he's like, what the hell's going on here? And he corroborates to the cops everything the 2 brothers said. Those 2 brothers were taken off to jail and spent 9 hours in jail.
Damn.
Over a bullshit Starbucks controversy.
Damn. 9 hours detained.
So let me just clear this up. Excuse me, I ain't done yet, folks. Y'all need to listen to what I'm telling you. The only reason this is an issue because a white girl videotaped the whole goddamn thing and put it on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Emmett Till.
Secondly, who do you think I blame for all this?
The police chief?
No. The 2 dumbass brothers waiting for the white boy.
Why? I mean, they're doing what white patrons would do. I mean, what? They should not.
I'm so glad you asked me. I'm so glad you asked me. You need to learn how to win the war and not win the battle.
Yes, sir.
So here's the thing. You got 2 brothers. Oh, I should also add, by the way, when they were being arrested, several whites in that Starbucks had not bought anything.
Yes.
They were in there sitting down. Nobody asked them to leave.
Yes.
And it was the white folks telling the cops, leave the brothers alone. But let me just finish this, okay? When you think you're fighting the system, you're doing exactly what the system wants. Now, those 2 brothers, because that white girl videotaped it,
yep.
Starbucks is going to close 8,000 Starbucks locations. Are you aware of this?
Yes, sir. I did. I saw that article.
Because they're going to do a cultural diversity sensitivity training day. Well, let me enlighten you on what most folks ain't going to tell you because you ain't going to hear it anywhere else because this is what I do.
Yeah.
Those brothers will probably never have to buy another Starbucks product. In fact, they'll probably get their own franchise inside of a Barnes & Noble.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I'm pissed off. What those brothers should have done when the cops showed up is take their black asses outside like the cops told them to do. File a complaint, file a lawsuit, do like I do on Facebook, Yelp, and everything else, and slam Starbucks. But instead, they got arrested not for trespassing at Starbucks. What do you think they really got arrested for?
Probably trespassing.
Contempt of cops.
No, that's a.
I told you niggas to leave, and you told me hell no. So we're gonna show you niggas who's in charge. And let me tell you why this is so dangerous and why I blame the 2 brothers. those two those two brothers ended up spending 9 hours in jail.
Right.
Now we have to worry about clearing their records over something that was nothing more than a business dispute.
Mm-hmm.
Not a criminal matter, a civil matter.
Right.
Secondly, what if those two brothers had been under the influence of alcohol and drugs? What do you think they would have done in addition to mouthing off to the cops? That could have easily escalated into a use of force situation.
Yeah.
Not only getting their ass nightsticked, tasered,
But
they could have ended up getting shot and killed.
Yes, sir.
So the message from this all is like, see, if you stand up to the cops, contempt of cop, and tell the cop to fuck off, you might spend 9 hours in jail, but you're going to end up getting your ass kissed by somebody as big as Starbucks.
Damn.
When, in fact, that's not going to happen to most blacks.
Yes.
So what I'm saying to you is this. Those two brothers, when the cops showed up, should have taken their black asses outside like the cops told them and handled this in a totally different manner. But now, because the message has been sent out that, guess what, the brothers won, you're going to have more people trying to do this shit, and it ain't going to end as happy and rosy as what happened in Philadelphia.
Damn. But hold on. Let's talk about Philadelphia. In 1985, what happened in Philadelphia in 1985?
You tell me, because I don't know shit.
Well, when a pro-black organization sprouted up, like a whole city block, they dropped a bomb.
And what's the name of that group? See? Okay. All right, brothers. Stop. All right, sisters. So since somebody on this esteemed staff wants to bring this shit up, let me enlighten you on what's really going on.
Right.
I told you earlier, this is Hitler's birthday, did I not?
Yes, sir.
And depending on who you talk to, Hitler's birthday is on the 19th or it's on the 20th.
Like Jesus.
So let's go back and look at what happened in this country. You had Columbine. What date did that happen?
20th.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm sorry?
April 20th.
Are you sure?
19-something. 97 or so.
What? Stop, dude. Get off the crack pipe, man.
No, I mean, I had a couple of drinks, but... Yeah.
All right, listen. I'll say this again. Depending on who you talk to, Hitler's birthday was on April 19th or the 20th.
Right.
So, we have Columbine. We have Oklahoma City bombing. We have Waco. Do you know what all those have in common?
What?
They occurred either on April 19th or April 20th. I can go on with several more.
Do.
Anyway. Yes?
Give us several more examples.
Why? Do your own fucking homework. So, as I'm saying to you, since you want to bring up Operation Move, when the Waco incident happened, there were 3 people on the panel for Waco. Those 3 people on that panel are the same 3 people that were on the panel for Operation Move.
Damn.
Are you aware of that?
No.
Of course you're not. So, let me just tell you how dumbass white cops from LAPD, who I know some are listening right now, when Willie Williams came to LAPD as the chief after they got rid of Daryl Gates, they didn't even realize Willie Williams sat on both the Operation Move panel and the Waco panel. Because who is Willie Williams? Willie Williams was a House Negro Boule who became the police commissioner of Philadelphia after Operation Move.
Damn.
Because during Operation Move, they They claim that black folks set their own place on fire,
No.
but the media showed Philadelphia Police Department dropping bombs out of helicopters on the Operation Move. Now let's flash forward to Waco. In Waco, they blamed David Koresh for burning down his old complex until videotape showed U.S. Army M60 tank, the flare version, or actually flamethrower version, M60 tanks setting that place on fire. Now, I can go so deep with this, but I mean, there's just so much. I just say this. I wrote a check to the ATF in honor of those 4 guys who got killed in Waco, and they refused to cash my check. You know why they refused to cash my check?
Why?
Because I went on Carl Nelson's show, and I told them that those 4 guys in Waco were killed by ATF agents.
Sorry, Brother Ron. Doing the show. I'm sorry about that. Accidentally messed up and hit the connect button. Sorry. But you're talking about Waco.
You see that?
Let me just say that again.
There we go. Sorry about that, brother.
I have to go make a phone call.
Oh.
Would you like me to say that again?
Yes, sir.
Yes, repeat yourself, please.
Excuse me. I'm a Marine Corps infantry officer. We never repeat. When you say repeat, that means send the bombs in again on your own fucking location.
Oh, God, no. No, we don't need no more bombs. No more bombs.
Anyway, so I'm going to try this again since I was so rudely interrupted. I wrote a check to the ATF in memory of the 4 ATF agents that were killed in Waco.
Yes, sir.
Not only did the ATF refuse to cash my check, they sent it back to me. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I went on a radio show here in LA with Carl Nelson. I told him those 4 ATF agents were killed by ATF agents.
No, not friendly fire. Not friendly fire. No.
So this is what happened. You got ATF. I already told you that FBI, we call them famous but incompetent.
Yes,
we say far worse about ATF. So here's the thing about federal agency. They're not cops.
right.
So if all you dumbass white folks right now who want the local cops to enforce federal immigration laws, and while you sit here and talk your posse comitatus crap,
Right.
immigration laws are enforced by federal agencies.
Yes.
If you mandate that local cops enforce federal law, you just open the door for everything else.
Yes.
Federal agents are not cops. They're federal agents. And with ATF, they try to go in there pretending to be cops, going up ladders and shit, entering the location from several different locations at the same time. One guy on the ladder accidentally shot himself in the leg. Instead of saying, I shot myself,
they shot me.
He said, I've just been shot. So now you got folks downstairs who think that David Koresh and his guys are shooting at the guys on the ladder. They start shooting through the ceilings up into the other floors. Those 4 agents were all killed by ATF because they're incompetent.
Damn.
Anyway, so I talked about this on Carl Nelson's show, and I guess ATF was pissed off at me for that. And then I also told LAPD, I go, mark my words, because see, every year, I was on the FBI list at that time, and every year we have this thing called Uniform Crime Reporting, UCR.
Yes.
And it always talks about cops that kill in line of duty. I go, you will never see those 4 ATF agents listed in the FBI UCR. And And all these guys at LAPD go, why not? Because they were killed by their own folks.
Damn.
And guess what? When the UCR report came out, there was no mention of those 4 guys in Waco. However, it gets better than that. I live in Orange County, California. I get the Orange County Register back then, that racist piece of shit newspaper. Waco happened on a Sunday morning. You know, like April 19th, April 20th, Hitler's birthday.
Oh, shit.
So when you get a Sunday newspaper from, when is it printed?
Probably done
Saturday night.
So how the fuck can I have an Orange County Register for Sunday? Now, first of all, California is a few hours behind Texas.
Yes.
So how did it already have the whole report about Waco in it?
Because the guy that writes the story for all the teleprompters, that's the guy that sets the pace for the whole damn country. And it's one guy. You see multiple TV shows, same commentary. And that's what Mark's talking about right now. Because they had the information.
What I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying to you, before the Waco incident even happened, it was already fucking written in the Orange County Register.
Because that reeks of an inside job. It reeks of prior knowledge to the event. It reeks of...
You mean like when John F. Kennedy was assassinated and one of my mentors was over in Iceland and he's already reading about fucking Lee Harvey Oswald and they hadn't even named him yet in the Dallas newspapers? But they fucked up because in Iceland the newspapers are way behind the U.S. papers, but Oswald's name's already in there.
Oh, shit. This is...
I'm sorry.
No, this is what you were talking about.
I did say I was going to cut myself off, didn't I?
Yes, you did. But when you're
so what I'm telling you is this, okay? When you folks think you're fighting the system, you're being manipulated.
Yes.
Maxwell Smart, what TV show was he on?
Get Smart.
That was Don Adams. Don Adams was a Korean War era Marine hero. But on Get Smart, what were the 2 primary agencies?
Control and Control and oh my God, the agency he worked for. Oh fuck! I remember Control.
Chaos.
Yes, Chaos.
We create the chaos. You're so fucking stupid. You'll demand us doing something about it, which allows us to give us control over you.
Yes.
Because as I said earlier, what is the greatest tool in the world used to control the mass population?
The mass media and fear.
There you go. So we create a situation that makes you so afraid you will demand that we come in and do something to protect you.
Yes.
Which perverts the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
Yes.
And you'll feel safer. Yes. And you will give up all your rights to feel safe, not knowing that we're the ones who created the situation in the first place.
It's called the Patriot Act and 9/11 event.
That's why Kevin Spacey had to be taken down.
Yes.
Because if you go back and look at House of Cards, they lay it all out what was planned for the Trump administration. And we got something big coming because Trump's about to go to prison and that white boy can't handle going to prison. So we're going to have something big happen in this country that's going to scare the shit out of the average American, that's going to give total control to the U.S. government.
Because we will at the end of the day.
And I'll just remind your listeners of this. I told you earlier that I told LAPD more than a year before it happened.
Yes. Yes.
That the riots were going to happen in LA. Well, guess what? I retired from the Marine Corps. I quit on...
No.
They cut us out.
No. Hold on, folks. I will get us back.
And there you have it, folks.
No. It's not. Hold on.
And there you go.
Hold on, folks. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now.
Marks get to talking too much. They like cut him, cut the feet.
Oh shit! Damn it!
What's the life on there?
Oh, it's good.
Okay.
I'm great on battery. What the fuck? All right, we need to bust out your phone right now, because this thing is not let me do the phone call.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry, folks.
It's probably not that.
It might be going through now. I am so sorry, folks. I'm so sorry. We are doing the best we can.
What we've got here
No!
failure.
No! This cannot be happening, dude. Not right now. I know it's happening, but
it's happening, folks.
Fuck.
They don't want you listening. They don't want you absorbing the information. And they
if not, we're gonna go on another phone and call Mark up because this is too damn important. Please answer, please.
Fuck Trump.
Yes. Oh God, we got you back.
So what the hell did I say this time that got me disconnected?
I don't know, but you said something. You said something that was inappropriate.
Try this again. All right. I told LAPD more than a year before the 1992 LA riots that they were going to see the largest riots in U.S. history, okay?
Yes.
I was doing radio shows with Dick Gregory and Carl Nelson out here on Stevie Wonder Station, KGLH 102.3, the front page. I told his listeners more than a year before it happened that they were going to see something happen in this country that would allow the U.S. federal government to have total control over them because of fear and paranoia.
Right.
What happened on 9/11/2001?
A tragedy.
I was telling Carl Nelson's listeners that a year before it happened. I quit the Marine Corps, had my retirement party at a redneck bar down here in Long Beach, California called Cowboy Country. In fact, I was a technical advisor, helped Gina Davis before the movie Thelma and Louise. When you look at Thelma and Louise and you see them in Oklahoma, they're actually really at this bar in Long Beach, California called the Silver Bullet. Now it's called Cowboy Country. Of course, Gina Davis didn't give me no fucking credit for that.
No.
So, of course, out of spite, I helped her ex-husband and Larry Fishburne a couple of weeks later for the movie Deep Cover. I'm proud to say that even in the movie Straight Outta Compton, they mentioned Deep Cover, and I do have an IDMB recognition for Deep Cover. But anyway.
Right on.
And
right on.
I had my retirement party on 11/9/2001 at Cowboy Country, where more than 700 rednecks, neo-Confederates, cowboys, cowgirls, LAPD cops, military from all branches come out to watch me retire in protest on 11/9/2001 in protest of 9/11/2001. And, of course, they passed the Patriot Act, and so I did my last radio show with Carl Nelson in Florida because I knew what I share with folks, they could send my ass to Guantanamo Bay.
Yes, they can.
And so I quit doing radio shows up until 2012 because when I saw Trayvon Martin killed, I realized to get the Civil War started again and the World War III started, Trayvon Martin was the catalyst. So I started coming back on the radio doing radio shows. So you folks better enjoy this show because now that Trump has appointed certain people for the
hassle
State Department, National Security Advisor, and CIA, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing radio shows because after all, now I'm just a lazy surfing beach bum and I don't give a shit about politics.
But we're so thankful, Mark, that you come on and you give us.
Yeah, while you're thankful, I have to worry about, like I said, one of my former LAPD recruits told me, when the Civil War starts, you're going to be in my rifle sight.
Fuck that punk.
Well, you saying fuck that punk,
I'm sorry.
I mentor and I coach female surfers, and I don't want nothing to happen to any of my female surfers because of
Yes.
my so-called political activity.
Yes.
So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing radio shows. I was not going to be doing any more radio shows after Trump got elected, but then Dick Gregory died.
Yes.
So for you folks who don't know this, I would provide Dick Gregory with information. He would put it out there, and you guys thought it came from Dick Gregory.
It came from
That
you.
way, it didn't come from me.
Right.
Dick Gregory's dead now.
Yes.
So now I don't have him to be my filter.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean I want to be no fucking martyr either. So I don't know
Right.
how much longer I'll be doing this.
Hey, you know what? I don't blame you, brother. Because most of these motherfuckers out here won't even listen to what you got to say, and they'll end up in the fucking ovens anyways. Because that's where it's
That's
going
not the
to.
problem I have. The problem I have is most of these folks don't give a shit until it personally affects their life.
Mm-hmm.
But since you brought up ovens,
Mm.
why did you mention the term ovens?
Because I know that at the end of the FEMA railroad trains are brand new ovens waiting to bake melanated people.
Why did you mention the term ovens? Whose birthday is it?
Hitler's.
I have to pull it out you like fucking pulling out a goddamn bad tooth, man.
It's Hitler's birthday, and I can't help.
So let me just tell you about the ovens. Look around all your major cities in this country. Look at your sewage treatment plants. The ovens are already here.
That's not
Soylent Green is people.
Oh, stop! Will you stop? You know, don't scare the people, man. We got. Listen, folks. I don't care what anybody says. There is a light at the end of this tunnel, and we will make it. We have survived so much, and we will survive much more. We will. We just have to get the iodine what we need.
Okay, Donna Summer.
Oh, stop! Will you stop?
The old one.
We have to get the iodine we need. You got to get your shotgun, your sidearm, and your rifle. You got to get your bow. You got to get your fishing string. You got to get.
Dude, you sound like Hank Williams Jr.
Will you stop? I'm telling these folks.
I got a shotgun, rifle, and a four-wheel drive. A country boy can survive.
Hell yeah.
Country boy can survive.
Hell yeah, we will. And you will, too.
You notice how you don't see much of Hank Williams Jr. anymore, right? Because first of all, he was so racist, and when the Negro was in the White House, he was so racist he got canceled off of Monday Night Football.
Oh, shit.
But who was Hank Williams Jr.'s all-time favorite far right-wing Tea Party person?
I have no idea.
No.
Well, if you go back and look at the TV show, television show, Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale?
Guess what they declare as the capital of the new United States?
Oh, it'd probably be Springfield, Missouri.
Try Anchorage, Alaska.
No.
So having said that, I'm going to ask the question again. Who is Hank Williams Jr. all-time favorite Tea Party person?
Probably that dude that died up there and refused to be her partner. He refused to be buried on American soil. He was buried over there in Canada.
AIP, the Alaska Independence Party. No, one of your folks said it, Sarah Palin.
Oh,
and Sarah Palin, John Birch Society, too. And if you remember, Sarah Palin was a member of a church in Alaska, and their vision of the United States mirrors what you see depicted in The Handmaid's Tale.
No, man.
Oh, yeah, man. So, why am I saying this to you? How come you don't hear very little about Sarah Palin these days?
Yeah, you don't hear shit.
And Hank Williams Jr., who loved and worshipped the ground that Sarah Palin walked on, why is everybody distancing themselves from Sarah Palin?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why?
A book came out talking about her doing cocaine, her husband doing cocaine. Shit. Nobody have a problem with that. But here's the problem. Sarah Palin fucked a nigger who was in the NBA.
Oh, shit.
How did I know that he do something with a brother?
You know, she needs that 12-foot, that 6-inch ain't cutting it. Oh, shit.
She used to be a sportscaster. and she hooked up with a brother from the NBA.
He wore that ass
I
out.
got jungle fever. She's got jungle fever. We got jungle fever. We're in love. So as soon as that book came out talking about Sarah Palin fucking a nigger, all of a sudden Hank Williams Jr. don't say shit no more about Sarah Palin, and she's all but null and void.
Because you know what you say. Once you go black, you can't go back.
And size does matter.
And thickness.
Will you please stop? Stop! Where do you think I get most of my information from?
Oh, God. I would almost say
Because they all have a brother on their bucket list.
Stop. Will you stop? You know, you fucked a chick on Calhoun's grave. You know,
I did not. I did not. Stop. You know, I don't know where this guy gets his information from. I had sex with a white girl on Calhoun's crypt, but I did not fuck a white girl on his grave. And I will lie and deny I ever told you that.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Where did you find that? How the hell did you know that?
I don't know. You know, how the hell did I get you on this show? You know what I mean?
I don't recall. All I know is,
They felt pity for us.
I was taught by the old school, and we always say, lie, deny, make them prove it. I shall neither confirm nor deny that in Charleston, South Carolina, I had tombstone sex on Calhoun's crypt.
Stop. I had to.
But I tell you what, since you mentioned that, I will post a photograph of John C. Calhoun's crypt when I get off.
Don't get us in trouble, man. Don't get us in trouble.
I don't even know how the hell you know that.
I'm TruePowerIsMine. It's my knowledge. I'm like the Merovingian. Information is my currency. You know.
What is your next question, sir?
My next question is, what can black folks do in this up and coming civil war?
Coming? The fuck you been?
Well, that's actually here.
Stop. For you, as well as your listeners, and when I say you, I mean everybody on that panel later today. Let me write this down. What can blacks do about the upcoming civil war? All right, now for you, Mr. Negro, and for the panel, all Negroes, and for anybody listening to this show today, once again, don't listen or believe anything I tell you. So I suggest for you, do this for yourself. Just Google 64,000 missing black women.
64,000 missing black women? Damn.
There you go.
Tired today.
Damn, dude.
So while you guys are sitting here talking about the upcoming Civil War, I don't know where the fuck you been.
Probably under a rock.
Watching documentaries.
You know it.
Let's say this again. Don't believe or listen to anything I tell you. You do your own research and you make up your own mind. I can guarantee you right now as I'm speaking, there's a whole lot of folks, black, white, brown, yellow, you name it, Googling 64,000 missing black women.
Yep. And you know what? I want to add this too. You know, forget what Mark
You don't
just
add
said.
shit because you asked me the question and I ain't finished yet.
Okay.
So, what was the big shooting in 2017?
Big shit.
Nightclub?
The Orlando nightclub? The Orlando nightclub
Fuck
shit?
that. First of all, that was in 2017. That was 2016. But go ahead.
What are the Vegas?
Oh, Vegas. Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah, Vegas shooting.
So, but I'll come back to the nightclub in Orlando. So, in the Vegas shooting, Most of the victims fit what kind of profile?
They were white. They were conservative.
Poor white trailer trash country music fans.
Basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, yeah.
So you have the Scottish Rite Temple
Mm,
and you have the York Rite Temple.
mm.
Now the York Rite is out of New York. Meanwhile, the Scottish Rite is out of my hometown, Charleston, South Carolina.
Mm.
So what clique do you think those folks, those rednecks, country music fans, are more likely to be allied with? The York Rite out of New York or the Scottish Rite out of South Carolina?
Scottish Reich.
There you go. So you have this guy named Stephen Paddock, right?
Right.
What floor did he shoot from?
32nd.
And the highest rank you can get in York Rite, what do you think that is?
It's the 33rd.
I'm going to try this again.
Oh, 32nd.
What floor did he shoot from?
32nd. Damn.
And
But
what's the highest rank in the York Rite?
30 seconds, but they're nothing but propagandists. 30.
So, on that particular day, who got released from prison?
Not OJ.
Oh, yeah, OJ.
No.
What was his football jersey number?
32. The Jews.
And when they claimed that he killed his wife and that Jewish guy in West LA, June 12, 1994, if you add those digits all up, what number do you think you come up with?
Stop!
32.
I could do this shit all day long. So while you guys are asking the upcoming Civil War, wake the fuck up. The Civil War has been going on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure after this radio show today, because you guys don't have access since you're online with me, you'll be Googling 64,000 missing black women.
Sir. Oh, shit, yeah. I mean, damn, dude. It's what you be talking about.
I already said to you earlier, there is a major war going on within the U.S. intelligence community.
Yes.
When Hillary Clinton ran against her cousin, Donald Trump, 40 of the top registered Republican within the international national security apparatus, they endorsed Hillary Clinton.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And I'll just
She's
say
a
this.
racist scumbag. She really is.
I'll just say this. Since the Republican National Committee nominated him and it was official, there have been some very interesting deaths of judges around the country.
Unfortunately. Even Sotomayor taking a fall.
Including a white male judge out here in L.A. who got run over by a hit-and-run driver.
Stop!
Black female who was floating in a river in New York City. Well, not New York City, but in New York. I'll just say this. And now Trump has appointed more federal judges.
Yes.
Lifetime appointments than any other president in my lifetime. You guys have no clue what's going on in this country.
They're taking their country back. They really are.
There it is.
You know, I mean, dude. You know, when I started talking to Judge Joe Brown, I mentioned John Birch Society.
Judge Joe Brown. Now, Judge Joe Brown is a brother who the New York courts tried to disbar him because he was the one that said, I know Lee Harvey Oswald may have killed Kennedy, but I don't believe it. But I damn sure know that James Earl Ray didn't kill King.
Yes.
And when he went to try to open that whole thing up, they tried to destroy Judge Brown's career.
Yes. Yes, they did.
And I'll just leave it at that. I ain't going to say no more about Judge Brown. But I'll just say this. The only folks out there I even have any respect for who are still alive today in regards to King's assassination would be Judge Joe Brown, William Pepper, and Mark Lane. Because Dick Gregory's dead. So. Oh, and Wesley Snipes.
Yes.
So if Wesley Snipes, who's now out of prison after they fucked him over on the bullshit tax evasion, if he decides with William Pepper to finally do Codename Zorro,
Yeah. Oh God.
And
Please, Mark.
then,
Tell the people about Codename Zorro. What is that? Please tell them about Codename Zorro.
all right, like I said earlier, everybody's talking about Black Panther, man, how successful Black Panther is. That was stolen from Wesley Snipes. Wesley
Yes.
Snipes went to Hollywood in 1994. I told you earlier how. Well, let me ask you this question. Let's see if you're listening. When white America in Hollywood is facing bankruptcy in the red, how can they bring themselves back into the black?
Right. Right.
I'm sorry?
They can't. They. If I borrow
What
money
do
from.
they do? What do they do to bring themselves back into the black? Let's make some movies about niggers.
Oh shit.
And black people go eat that shit up too.
Who's not just black people. If it depended on black people, that ain't gonna happen. First of all, what percentage of the population in the U.S. right now, as I speak to you, is white?
76%.
Pretty close, but
71, I think.
71.7. Yeah, 7.1.7. So, I'm going to ask this again. When Hollywood or people within the media industry is suffering in the red, how do they ensure themselves of getting back into the black?
They make black-based movies.
There you go. So, who the fuck saved Marvel?
Oh my God, Black Panther, and then
No. Wesley Snipes.
with Blade.
There you go.
Oh shit.
So Wesley Snipes decided he was going to come out with Black Panther. And white Hollywood told him, dude, no movie studio is going to promote no damn nigger as a superhero. And white America, which still runs this country, they ain't going to go out and watch a movie about no damn nigger superhero.
Damn.
So now you look at fucking Black Panther and look how fucking successful that movie's been.
Damn.
I like the movie. And I'm pissed because the least they could have done was made Wesley Snipes a supporting actor in that movie.
Yes.
They fucked him through and through.
Yes. Wesley Snipes, if you listening, I want you on the other morning show, sir. I want you so bad on this show. If you're listening.
So, what I tell folks is this. Wesley Snipes told Dick Gregory, William Pepper, and Mark Lane that he agreed to do the movie Code Name Zorro.
Yes.
All of a sudden, Wesley Snipes gets set up on some bullshit tax evasion charges.
Yes.
Now, they had this trial down in Ocala, Florida, where Wesley never lived, even though he's from Florida. All the black folks who were called to jury duty were dismissed before the jury was ever selected.
All white jury.
They picked a 12 all white jury. 9 of the 12 said, the nigga's innocent. 3 on the jury said, hell no. And they were all 3 who lied to get on a jury. Wesley went to prison for 3 misdemeanors as tax evasion. Served the full term for it.
Yes.
And I'm afraid that if he comes back out now with William Pepper and try to make Codename Zorro, they're going to probably kill him. Oh, Zorro is the term used by FBI for Martin Luther King Jr. Because they tried to, of course, we as black men are all highly sexual.
Right.
And unlike the Spanish-speaking guy wearing a black mask with a sword, Codename Zorro would imply that Martin Luther King Jr. was a promiscuous whore and he was fucking white women and everybody else, which most of that is bullshit. It's all John Birch Society propaganda, along with that Martin Luther King was a communist bullshit propaganda. But that was the code name Zorro. And if Wesley Snipes and William Pepper get together and make this movie, you'll know the truth about what happened with Martin Luther King, but it will probably end up destroying what remains of Wesley Snipes' career. In fact, Wesley Snipes now, when he does a movie, he goes directly to video because he can't even get promoted in Hollywood theaters.
Damn, dude. He is such a great actor. Such a great fucking actor, dude.
But what's his problem? when he's in those movies, who's he in bed with?
A white woman.
There you go. No, not just white. White,
Asian.
blonde hair, blue eyes,
Mm.
Aryan.
Aryan. Yeah, you're right.
So having said that, for you folks out there who want a better idea what I'm talking about, Mark from Anaheim.
Yes.
Political Sarcasm 101.
Yes.
That's on Facebook. That's a fan page, not a group site. And since these Negroes who brought me on this fucking show today have once again compromised the safety of my family and me, bye.
Oh, man. Thank you, Mark. Man, you are the shit, dude. I mean, look, there's nobody in this fucking industry that can call somebody a day before their interview and get them on. Seriously. Mark is the real shit. He has brought us truth and he has brought us knowledge. It is up to you. But unlike Mark, I will tell you straight up, don't bother wasting your time to research this shit. Listen to what the fuck we're talking about and critical think this shit and see what's up. Dude, we are all in this shit together, man. And if we don't realize that, then like I said with Professor Griff the other night, fuck it. This son of a bitch deserves to be burnt the fuck down.
Was burning. All I want to say is I don't want to hear no bullshit in the comments. Keep that bullshit to yourself. You're gonna let Mark talk. All this Mark talk for almost what was it? About almost like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, we're so thankful. I'm so thankful.
This was done on the humbug.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna have John Lear later on this evening.
Yes.
For all the people that like John Lear, he'll be on at 7
our time.
I want to
Central time.
Thank all the subscribers, all the people that's helped out the show, all the people that do the stuff behind the scenes.
And all 145 people on my live YouTube feed.
Those numbers aren't accurate.
Thank you so much. You know, without your support. And we will be having t-shirts out coming next week or so. The other morning show t-shirts, please. They're only $10 a piece. P.O. Box 133, DeSoto, Missouri 63020. Send in $10, or actually $13. I'm so sorry. $13 because I had to charge a couple of dollars for shipping and handling. The post office don't mail the shit for free, but we would get that shit to you, and I will put in a hand personalized letter thanking each and every customer personally from TruePowerIsMine. No bullshit, no middleman.
I ain't got much else, nothing to say, but
man, this has been the other morning show. We gotta get ready for the next show with John Lear. Dimebag gotta go do a couple things. I gotta do a couple things. Thank you all. Seriously, you guys are the truth, and you guys are the change that we need. Seriously, and I ask you, from the bottom of my heart, please share this video with others that you know. Just share it. Post it on any links. I'm giving the okay to use any of our videos in any type of media. Please use it. We need to get this truth out there to the people who need it desperately. Thank you. I'm TruePowerIsMine.
I'm Dimebag Doily.
And this was the other morning show.
I already said peace, I'm out.
All right. I'm going to stop my video right now. Okay.